Just recently, we, and probably many of you as well, received an email from our crypto exchange that felt like a quiet warning. To comply with MiCA regulations and its travel rule requirements, we're soon introducing new rules for deposits and withdrawals. You'll need to confirm if your wallet is self-custodial, you'll need to verify ownership, and crazily enough, you're going to need to go through a facial scan through a liveness check just to move your own coins. Translation: time is running out, especially for Europeans, to cash out their gains without automatically forking half of it in taxes. Because if you haven't off-ramped yet and you thought you were just gonna sit and wait, this may be your last chance before rules like DAC8 automatically report all of your holdings to your tax authorities. So in the next few minutes, I'll break down what these rules really mean for you, and most importantly, the last options to cash out anonymously before regulations trap your coins for good. Let's dive in. First off, some context, because many of you may have not even heard about these incoming rules, probably because they go unreported. But here's a basic outline of the two main things that you should watch out for. And let's start off with DAC8, the EU's new surveillance program dressed up as a tax transparency directive. It's basically a long line of DAC rules, but this one is aimed squarely at crypto platforms. Under DAC8, if you've traded under a EU-based exchange or even a foreign exchange with EU clients, your data, your wallet addresses, trades, transfers, are all going to be automatically reported to your local tax authority. No questions asked, no subpoena required. And starting with January 1st of 2026, if you've ever made a trade on these crypto platforms, all of that information, it gets put on a database. A database that can be used in the future to tax you retroactively. And good luck trying to use the excuse of, I lost my coins, once all of that information is in their hands. The second rule, and one that has garnered a little bit more attention, is MiCA, also known as Markets and Crypto Assets Regulation. This rule basically forces all the exchanges to become the watchdogs of this automatic reporting. MiCA is what makes these platforms obey. It's basically the straitjacket that says, hey, Kraken, Binance, Bitstamp, if you want to continue operating in the EU, you will collect KYC on all users, you will keep records, you will comply with DAC8 reporting, or you're out. Right now, exchanges are not required to report all of your transaction history to governments and tax authorities yet. But due to the nature of the blockchain, all those transactions are logged forever. That's why we've said, don't use centralized exchanges, especially for large amounts. Because if you've already plowed in large amounts, you're stuck playing the I lost all of my crypto in a boating accident card. It's not ideal, but that's what you get if you haven't planned ahead and haven't used DeFi. And you'll never be able to spend those cryptos in your own personal name because remember, there's a receipt that there's money that's missing. So you're going to have to use nominees or some kind of business structure. Now, one of the cash out options that I haven't really touched upon are prepaid crypto debit cards. You load your crypto onto them, and then you can use them in stores, with merchants, and with service providers. The only downside with this option is, number one, you're limited with how much you can actually plow onto it, and then secondly, it's probably going to die out soon. Heck, Binance, the largest crypto exchange, had one of them, the Black Visa card, and it was shut down. And all the other service providers will probably have to follow suit. Now, there is a difference between the prepaid physical cards and the virtual cards, which are more common and they have a little bit less regulation. One reputable example for a prepaid anonymous debit card is Trocador. We're not sponsored by them. Do your own due diligence and look through the service reviews. It's just the one that is the best known. Other than that, you can go on Offshore Corp Talk and search the forum. There are many users that actually provide these prepaid anonymous debit cards, but for privacy reasons, I'm not going to give out their names. Just go there and type in anonymous debit cards in the forum search, and their names are going to pop up. For other physical cards, you can try Zipdo.com or bit.store, though they will require you to go through KYC. For virtual anonymous cards, you can try stealths.net or Wallister. Keep in mind the service fees for many of them, and the application fees can be quite high for the anonymous ones, sometimes well above $50. Now, when it comes to cashing out your crypto, another possible option is to use it directly for products and services. Some jurisdictions make it easier for that, such as Dubai, Turkey, Northern Cyprus, where you can spend your cryptos for luxury goods, properties, cars, heck, watches and clothes. However, you do need to actually live there or travel there to make this work. If you want to do it from your home, there are still options, though the range is limited. XMR Bazaar is the first one that comes to mind for the Monero crowd. Again, the amount of services you can actually get there, it's quite small. And then another one is Monerica, if you want to find businesses and websites that will accept your XMR directly. Again, very US-centric. Now, if anonymity is not a concern for you, then there are more services to choose from, though many of them will require KYC. Bitrefill is one of them, where you can buy gift cards and services directly with cryptos. Cake Wallet is another, where you can actually spend your Monero in stores. Travala for hotels, flights, vacations. Spendabit is actually a crypto directory that gives you all the businesses that accept Bitcoin. And finally, if you want to buy gold or silver, you can go through BitGuild. It is European focused, and again, they will require KYC. The problem, though, that none of these services address is cashing out larger amounts. They're great for anybody who has about $10,000, but for higher amounts, it's impractical. You're going to have to go through so much hassle in order to cash out that crypto, so many debit cards, gift cards, services, that it's not going to be worth your time. That's why, by far, the most effective way to cash out large amounts in crypto is by building your own off-ramping vehicle, by connecting the crypto blockchain world to fiat banking. We've touched upon this topic a couple of times previously, where essentially you want to use OTC dealers and flexible accountants. The OTC dealers, they'll find the buyers directly for your crypto and then send a wire to your bank account, and then the flexible accounting creates a paper trail. If you want to cash out in your personal name, you will have to move to countries like Dubai, Turkey, El Salvador, Paraguay, where cryptos are not taxed. Though you will also have to use flexible accounting, because the first thing that people are going to ask when you try to move that money out of those jurisdictions is, where was that initial transaction coming from? And if you can't explain that, many banks will just outright refuse it. If you don't want to move to a desert or a swampland, if you want to stay in your home, high-tax country and cash out your cryptos, then you pretty much have to build a business structure, because that's the only way how you can explain away the narrative as to where the money came from a business perspective, with accounting tricks, debt, write-offs, deductibles. It doesn't have to be complicated, it can be simple, but it has to create a narrative. I made a previous video on how Cyprus can still be used as a tax haven for crypto trading and cashing out, though this unofficial loophole will most likely see its days ending due to DAC8 and MiCA, but you can check it out over there. That's it for today's presentation. If you enjoy this type of content, as always, please comment down below and share it with a friend, because it will boost the algorithm. I'll be seeing you though in the next video, and until then guys, bye-bye.